Hello, hello, hello. Welcome here or welcome back. This episode of As the Tarot Turns is brought to you on purpose with purpose. I am your host, Crystal, and this is Say You Love. Say You Love, I named my channel name, my book name, because I just wanted to throw some inspiration out and let you guys know that you have the power within your pocket to write a whole entire book. I did all of this with my phone in my pocket. I didn't need no laptop. I didn't need no craziness. All I did was do text to talk. I can't talk right now, but text to talk, and wrote an entire book from my phone. So I used to be Nacho Mama, but I changed it to Say You Love because that's really what I'm all about. So today we are going to discuss feeling guilty for being happy. You know, a lot of people have a tendency to feel guilty whenever they're happy. And that could be a trauma response from childhood. That could be, that's like that, almost like that survivor's guilt, you know? So we're going to get some intuitive reads, and we're also going to pull some cards for why do you feel guilty when you're happy? What is that about? There's a lot of people that do that too. Hello, welcome here. I moved like 2 tons of rock yesterday and finished putting in my swamp cooler today. It's all weatherproofed. I am the woman. All right, so we're going to find out what's up with feeling guilty for being happy. I mean, sometimes that stems from childhood, you know. Sometimes that stems from our relationships. Like some of us have been in relationships where like our partner hates when we're happy. Sometimes that stems from the fact that, you know, if you're happy, that means that somebody's going to take it away, and then what are you going to do, you know? So then you have more control over not enjoying your happiness. It's like you're scared to enjoy your happiness because you don't want it to get taken away. So let's pull some cards, see what sort of energies we can come up. Yeah, we have the Death card. Like I was talking about, like sometimes we have a tendency to either self-sabotage, or we feel guilty when we're happy because we don't want it to ever go away, you know? So we feel that if we remain in sadness, or if other people see us happy, then they're going to try to poke at us and it can be taken away. But once you really discover how powerful you are within yourself, then you are in control of your happiness. You know, nobody can take that from you. If you're putting your happiness outside of yourself, you know, if you put your happiness in a job or in a relationship or the specific outcome of one thing or another, and you don't get it, and then you're not happy about it, you know, or you do get it, and what happens if you lose it? Some of you have people that don't like it when you're happy. They don't like you being happy. You know, they'll do whatever they can to try to sabotage it. But that doesn't mean you have to feel guilty for being happy. You know, it's not your fault that the people that you're around are not happy. I know we want to take everyone with us. Hello. Well, thank you so much, Tanya. Yeah, sometimes we are put in the middle of other people's bickering, like they want us to choose sides. You know, they want us to choose, like, if you were a child, you know, growing up, and you had a mom and a dad split up, and you always heard your mom talking smack about your dad, you know, or you always heard your dad talking smack about your mom, you know, and they always tried to pull on you. They pulled you this way and then pulled you that way. You know, there might be some of you that have that trauma response from being put in this situation, from your childhood, being in a separated household, you know, where one parent pulled you to one side, and if you went to dad's house and came back super happy, you know, then mom made you feel guilty for it. So it was kind of like this core memory, you know. It's like, oh, well, if I'm happy, if I come back happy, then dad's gonna flip out, and, like, you know, then it starts all kinds of drama or something. We have the Lovers. Sometimes we are guilty for being happy in our relationships, you know. Some of you are guilty for being in a happy relationship because your parents weren't in a happy relationship, or maybe your best friend isn't in a happy relationship. So whenever you get around your best friend, you're not allowed to, like, talk about how wonderful it's going, because it makes them feel bad, you know. I love you, Tanya. Thank you. We have the Hierophant, you know. The Hierophant talks about religion. Some of it is a religious trigger. You know, you got to go and give penance. You know, go do your Hail Marys every time that you do something that is considered a sin, or, you know, it's like you can't follow your true joy because of some sort of religious upbringing. So it makes you feel guilty, you know. Like, the topic for today is why we feel guilty when we're happy, you know. And I'm going through the cards, just kind of sometimes we have children. A lot of times it stems from when we're children, you know. Or every time that we're happy, something bad happens, you know. So some of us are scared to be happy to begin with. But when you have your head on straight, you know, when you don't let other people, like, that's, if people are guilt tripping you because you're happy, that's a form of emotional manipulation. If they see you happy and then all of a sudden, you know, like, they start talking about how bad their day was or how it must be nice, you know, like, don't let those people trigger you. Don't let those people come in and steal your joy from you just because they don't have none. People stealing your joy. You talk about being happy and then someone steals it or tries to steal it or tries to, like, bring you down in some way or another. Sometimes it's the people that we work with. You know, we can't talk about that raise or that promotion. You know, we can't talk about upgrading our financial situation, because then there's somebody out there that's talking about how bad that they've got it, you know. Well, it must be nice to have a house, you know, it must be nice to get that promotion. Like, there's so many different reasons why people make us feel guilty for being happy. But really, we got to learn how to step above that, you know, how to heal that, how to not absorb that energy. Yeah, because sometimes their issues are not your issues. Like, those are their shoes, these are your shoes, and everybody's got issues, you know, but sometimes their issues are not your issues. You might have a job where you take your work home with you, if you're a nurse, or if you're like a paramedic or a therapist. It's like you feel like you can't help them. You're doing the best you can, but you can't help them. And anytime that you have a celebration, anytime that like you want to be celebrated or you want to celebrate with somebody, there's always somebody out there that's trying to throw a drag on that. And it's like you don't feel like you can be celebrated. You don't feel like you can celebrate your winnings because it makes other people around you sad. It's like the people that you love, and especially the people that you love, if the people that you love aren't celebrating your growths with you, and I wouldn't say just don't tell them, but learn to learn to learn to balance your emotions with that. Just remember that that's their problem, not a your problem. Celebrate anyways. And you don't have to do it in like a selfish way, or a conceited way, but definitely have your celebrations, regardless of what anybody else says to you about it. The right people that are for you will celebrate with you. They will celebrate every single one of your wins. Sometimes strangers will celebrate you more than your own family, but when you start doing good in the world and you start coming up, or you get a promotion or whatnot, then it makes people responsible for what they haven't done, then all of a sudden it's your fault that they aren't like that. Then people have to be accountable for the fact that they didn't rise, then they make you feel guilty for it. And that's a them burden. That is a them burden. Like don't absorb it. You know how when we go into places, like I know that like I had CPTSD real bad, and anytime that I was in a social situation, like when I walked in, I would automatically go, like this, so when I did that, I was sucking all of that energy into me. And I learned that when I walk into somewhere, especially if I'm nervous or especially if I'm scared or if I think that people are going to, try to rain on my parade, like when I walk into somewhere, now I push my energy out instead of going like this. A lot of times we go like this in situations, and then we wonder why we feel the way that we do. And it's like because we just sucked all that energy inside of ourselves instead of like pushing it out. So if you have problems going into social situations, make sure that you are pushing that energy, your energy, out instead of sucking all of their energy in. Hi, bro. Yeah, these people want to know how you do it. These people want to make you feel guilty because they don't know how to do it for themselves. And if they can make you feel a certain kind of way, then they don't have to take responsibility for how they feel. They don't have to take responsibility for their own shortcomings. But feeling guilty when you're happy is definitely a trauma response. You should not have to feel guilty for being happy. Yeah, and some people are like thieves in the night, man. They will try to steal your joy any way they can, or they'll try to suck the joy out of you for themselves. I know this is a Gemini card, but I'm not talking about Geminis. It just reminds me of like Jekyll and Hyde, Some people are like Jekyll and Hyde. But it's all about how you see it, how you view the world, how you view yourself, you know? Don't take on their perspective. Like, keep your perspective, keep your boundaries, keep your energy up. It doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. If you don't jump onto that bandwagon, like if your goat is gettable, somebody is going to try to get your goat. If your chain is yankable, somebody out there is going to try to yank that chain. But if you can walk in with your own emotional integrity and intelligence, you know, once you learn how to be able to control your own feelings, your own thought patterns, like none of the outside world will really matter ever again anyways. I truly believe that we can change the entire world if we change our world from the inside first. We can change the whole world by helping people learn how to heal themselves. Hi, Michael. Yeah, those feelings. Running on feeling, like the temperance runs on all feeling and no fact, and the justice runs on all fact and no feeling. We have to have a good balance, you know, like we can't just be all fact and no feeling, but we can't just be all feeling and no fact either, because I mean, feelings aren't necessarily fact. They're valid, but it doesn't make them fact. Page of Pentacles. Yeah, a lot of times, if you're getting money, or if you grew up without money, you know, and then you start getting some, then your family members are like, you feel bad because they ain't got none, you know. You feel bad because they living in some shack somewhere, or got bed bugs or whatnot, you know. But that's still not your problem. Like, you could try to help as much as you can help, but it's not your fault they're in that situation. No matter how much they try to guilt trip you into believing that it is not your fault. Some people just like to battle. Some people like that drama. They like making you upset. Because if they can make you upset, that means that they have control over you. And if anybody out there is making you upset, that means they have some sort of power over you. So you got to take that power away from them. You got to take that power away from every time that you're happy and you go talk to this person, all they want to do is throw it in your face about how they didn't make it, how they're not good enough, or how they ain't got the money. You know what I mean? You got to take your power back into you. Nobody can honestly make you feel any sort of way. Like, you can agree to feel a way. You could agree to be angry. You could agree to feel guilty. You could agree to feel upset, but you don't have to. You don't have to feel that way. Thank you, Tanya. Yeah, I think some of these people have money, or some of these people don't have money. You know, and you're starting to get the bag and they're like, well, where's mine? And you're like, well, did you work for it? You know what I mean? I earned this. Like, I worked real hard to get where I'm at, you know? People have a tendency to be like, oh, well, aren't you lucky? But nobody sees like how hard you worked to get to where you're at. They only see the outcome of what the work the work you did put in. You know, they only see the outcome of that. They didn't see how many times you laid on the floor crying, you know, how many times you prayed, how many times you like got turned down or turned away, you know. They only see that, oh yeah, now you're getting success, or oh yeah, now you've got the promotion. You know, and these people are unhealed people. Anybody that tries to make you feel guilty for being happy is a huge red flag, you know? And it doesn't matter how much you love them. You can love them with your whole heart and soul. But it doesn't mean that you have to agree to feel some sort of way because that's the way they want you to feel about it. Some people are sick enough to do it on purpose. You know, like if you're in some sort of real abusive, like narcissistic relationship, they do that on purpose. They try to get you to question your own reality. Like with gaslighting, that's how they get you hooked. It's like once they know for a fact that you will question your own reality just to try to stick it out with them, then they pretty much will try to get away with whatever they want. There's a I love you, Tanya. Be safe out there. I know you were talking about getting hit with some storm. Stay safe in those storms. There's a spot in the Harry Potter movie that is like my favorite example of like what gaslighting is, and it's when she's using that timepiece and she's going back in time, and Ron's always like, did you see her come in? Like, you seen her come in, right? And she straight up just tells him like, I've been here the whole time, you know? Like that's a prime example of like what gaslighting looks like, you know? Someone will try to tell you, like my homie one time, like we went to his mom's house and she had these chickens, you know, and she was really upset because one of her chickens got out. And when we got there, he walks into the house and was like, oh yeah, we saw this chicken. He's like, me and Crystal saw this chicken, you know, and it because he drove off with it in his car. I remember him saying that like a couple of days before that. He was like, oh yeah, I had this chicken in my car and had to drop it off on the side of the road. But he went into his mom's house and tried to tell her that I saw this chicken with him, you know, and that when he went to go check the cage that it was open. I was like, I did not see no chicken, but he was trying to get away with it. Yeah, with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Some people will seriously try to get you to question every bit of your reality. They'll be like, "Oh no, I didn't do that. That's not what I was doing." You know? Or yeah, you did see this. They'll try to implant things, they'll try to unimplant things. And once they get you to question your own reality, you know, then you're like you question yourself, you know? Like, did I really see that? Did I really see a chicken? You know? Like, nah, there wasn't no chicken. Nah, Hermione wasn't there. She was using the timepiece. You know what I mean? We just dropped one. Yeah, they get you all up in your head. So whatever it is you got to do, like some people, sometimes you just got to just not let them say whatever they're going to say, but don't agree to feel whatever kind of way they're trying to get you to feel. And I know it's like a lot easier said than done, you know, because sometimes all you want is for the person that you love to be happy too, you know, but it's like, why does my happiness upset you? You know, like, shouldn't my happiness make you happy? Like, why are you envious or jealous of the fact that, like, I'm happy? Like, it shouldn't work like that. Yeah. Got to learn how to plug that boat with them swords that people be putting in your back. You know, and that's a sword. Like, that's a sword in your back if somebody is going to purposely try to make you feel guilty for being happy. You know, them are the kind of people that you don't need to be with. Them are the kind of people that you don't need to be with. Like, and it don't matter like who it is. It doesn't matter if it's your children, your mama, your brother, your mother. I said mama twice. Your lover. Like, you don't have to stay and participate. And if you do feel like staying and participating, just remember to push that energy out instead of absorbing it in. Yeah. Because the truth is somebody that doesn't celebrate your successes with you, keep an eye on them. Keep a close eye on them. Or from a distance eye on them, preferably. But if you got to be up close to somebody like that, just don't absorb that energy. Yeah. It takes a lot of mental strength. I'm not saying that it's easy, you know? And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with you if you feel this way, if you've ever felt guilty for being happy. Like that, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with you. Like you are not broken. It just takes a little bit more strength to not absorb that energy. You know, it takes a little bit of mind control to not let people make you feel guilty. You deserve happiness. That is your God-given birthright, man. You deserve to be happy. Some of you feel guilty because maybe you got out of a situation and somebody else didn't. You know what I mean? That's like survivor's guilt. Like addicts get survivor's guilt. It's like, well, why did my homie die and I lived? You know, why did I get to live and this person died? Like if you were an addict and you got out, you know what I mean? You can't feel guilty for choosing yourself. You can't feel guilty because they haven't made it out yet. You can hold space for them, you know? You can hold space that they will make it, you know, and you can leave your heart open for the time when they do make it out. But you can't be back in a situation with somebody that's still doing drugs or still an addict of some sort. Like they'll just bring you right back down to their level and you can't feel guilty about it. I know it's a lot easier said than done. Yeah, the Nine of Wands is a lot easier said than done. But you deserve it. You're worth it. Especially if you've made it out of some sort of crazy like environment. You know, if you made it out of an addiction, like I'm super proud of you. It doesn't matter if it's 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, a week, 6 months, a year, 10 years, like super proud of you. And you can't feel guilty for it, you know? That's not fair to you. That's not fair to all the work that you've put in to be where you're at. Yeah, none of this. None of this. None of that shit talking to yourself in your own head. Like, quit talking about my friend like that. You know, and sometimes we have enough, so it's like, well, why do we want more? You know, we feel guilty when we get more, you know? It's like, well, should I eat this food? Because, I mean, there's someone out there that's starving. You know, you start feeling guilty for eating. You start feeling guilty for getting a promotion. You start feeling guilty for, you know, all of them things. But no, you deserve it. You deserve to be happy. You deserve people who celebrate with you with your accomplishments. You deserve to eat that food and take that white box home with you. And I think once you learn your own personal worth, like nobody's opinions will matter to you no more. It won't matter that this person ain't got what you got because you worked hard for what it is that you've got. And you'll own it. Yeah, with the sun. You'll own it. Speaking of sun, I got so much sun. I'm all kinds of sunburnt. The Chariot. Yeah, you'll move on from any of that. Either you'll move on like physically, or you'll just move on with your emotions, you know, and just be happy anyways. Because that's what you truly deserve. Just dropped a bunch of cards. Hold on. What do we drop here? The Five of Wands. I think you're learning it. You're learning. The fact that you're aware you even feel like that is a huge step in the right direction. You know, if you have ever questioned why you feel that way, you know, like why you feel guilty when you're happy, that is like awareness is the number one key you could possibly have for anything, you know? So if you've ever even questioned yourself about that, then I congratulate you. You know, that's taking a huge step. It's almost like step number 1 in 12 steps, you know? First you got to acknowledge it. And then you got to understand why, you know? And then you got to start working on the steps towards recovery from feeling guilty. Like recovery isn't just about drugs, y'all. Recovery is about recovering over trauma, recovery from all kinds of things. You could be recovering from narcissistic abuse. You could be recovering from childhood trauma. You could be recovering from emotional manipulation or people that guilt trip you. You know, but the first step is being aware of it. So if you've made it to step number 1 to where you're aware of it, congratulations. Because now when you recognize it, you'll be able to evaluate it like, hey, why do I feel this way? Right? First you acknowledge it. You're like, oh, I feel guilty for being happy. And you're like, well, then why? What caused this feeling in me? You know? And then that's how you start doing real shadow work. You find out if that is like your own response or if somebody's like pushing that response onto you and you're absorbing it. Because I think once you get it under control, once you go through those steps, you'll be a whole hell of a lot happier because ain't nobody can make you feel that way. Not even yourself unless you choose to. Once you're aware of it, you're like, okay, I am agreeing to be guilty for being happy, you know, and then that just sounds ridiculous. So then you change it, you know. But until you're aware of it, like the only mistakes we make in life are the ones we don't learn from. If you honestly don't know something that is a mistake, then it's a mistake. You know, you'll have an opportunity to do it again. You'll have an opportunity to show what you've learned. So the next time that you feel guilty for being happy, you'll be like, okay, wait a second. And then you'll be one step closer to never feeling that way ever again, or never letting anybody else ever let you feel that way ever again. But having power over our own minds and the awareness of it is step number 1. That is the biggest step that you could possibly take in your leap towards healing. Hi, Hecker. That's cool. Well, sorry, I don't mean to take over. Yeah, some of y'all have to release that. It is the death of the old you and the birth of the new you. You know, the old you is going to let people make you feel that way. But seriously, that whole pushing out instead of absorbing, you know, like when somebody starts yelling at you and you like clench up, you know, like you start clenching up, like you're absorbing that energy. If somebody is like in your face talking to you, you know, and you do that like clenching in, you're absorbing that energy. When you walk into a grocery store or the mall or somewhere that's super social and you instantly go like this, you're like literally sucking all of that in. So the next time that you are in a situation like that, like push out, like breathe and push out, you know, with love and light. I'm pushing love and light. You know what I mean? Like I have this bubble and nothing can penetrate it. I'm going to keep my happiness and nothing's going to penetrate it, you know, and just keep pushing your energy outwards. Everybody talks about being a starseed. Like I spend a couple of minutes every day just radiating love from my position, just putting love out into the ley lines of the planet like a heartbeat. It's all, and every time that I visualize it, I visualize a heartbeat out into the planet. Got the lovers again. Yes, for some of you, this could be a partner that has you feeling this way. You know, it's like every time you come home and you're super happy, then they start a fight with you. You know, that's a big red flag, man. But you've got to know that you're protected. One of my favorite prayers is no weapons formed shall prosper against me, you know, either known or unknown. None shall prosper. I'm a little tongue-tied today. Like, I have endometriosis real bad. And, yeah, being a girl freaking sucks sometimes. So my brain's like not as sharp. It's like, what? Words and stuff. I don't know. How else can we heal this collective universe? What else can I tell the collectives that they need to know about feeling guilty about being happy? Besides, like, don't. You know, that just sounds so simple. Don't do that. But how do they not do that, universe? How can we stop the collective from doing that? This is by being aware. Yep, by walking away from things that, you know, walking away from that feeling. Just blocking it. If you go home and you're happy and your partner wants to be a freaking an asshat, let him be an asshat, man. Hi, Dan. That doesn't mean that you have to agree to be in that same vibration with them. Just whistle while you work. Let them be mad. Five of Swords. Some of them will try to do whatever they can to get you on a different frequency, you know? And the more you're not on that frequency, they push harder and harder and harder. They do dumber and dumber and dumber shit, you know? And the more you stay content inside yourself and find that inner balance, like the more they flip out. Which that's a huge red flag, man. If you got a partner that whenever you're happy, they do whatever they can to make you upset, that's a huge red flag. Yeah, keeping promises. But I think these are promises you're trying to keep to yourself or keep with yourself, you know? Or maybe this person promises that they're not going to do it, but then they do it again anyways, but then you just let them get away with it again anyways. And then they do it again, and then you let them get away with it, and then they do it again, and you let them get away with it, you know? You got to keep this promise to yourself to not let them get to you. that you deserve the happiness, that you will be happy. Like, I'm going to be happy with or without you. You know, you could go be sad over there in that corner. You don't have to say this because that'll probably just put more fuel to their fire. Yeah, but that's toxic. Yep. That ain't no good. People that don't celebrate your wins with you ain't no good. People that try to sabotage you anytime that you're happy, they throw some sort of monkey wrench in on that shit, ain't no good. Yeah. Gotta watch that. And watch how you agree to respond to that. Because nobody can make you feel any sort of way. They can't make you angry. They can't make you sad. They can't make you happy. Nobody can make you feel anything. You come to agreement to feel that way, you know? I know it sounds hard, man. Especially when somebody is like super trying to push your buttons. But ultimately, that's the only thing that we own in this life. That's it. That's all we own in this whole entire world, really, is our reactions and our emotions. But we've been programmed to feel a certain sort of way. You know, oh, this, if this happens to you, you know, you're supposed to be sad about it. If this happens to you, you're supposed to be mad about it. But you don't have to feel that way. Yeah. Divorce. Some of y'all either need to get a divorce or somebody's always threatened you with divorce. Like, that's their, like, you know what I mean? Their secret weapon. That's their secret weapon to get you to hush. You know what I mean? As soon as they start mentioning divorce or whatever, then or if you mention divorce, then they turn the roles around, you know? Like, oh, I'm sorry, baby. Or, you know, you go chasing back after them. No, please don't. Like, that's their tool that they use. Yeah, that's emotional manipulation. Same thing with people that say that they're going to go off themselves because of something that you did. You know, if you break up with somebody and then all of a sudden they're talking about how they're going to go off themselves, like, call the police, call the paramedics, go have them do a welfare check, you know? Like, don't take it not lightly, like, take it very seriously, but don't let them emotionally manipulate you into being like, oh, I'm so sorry, you know what I mean? And go run into their aid. Like, you don't do the running to the aid. You send the paramedics to go run to their aid, you know? I've had people try to play that on me before. And I have sent the paramedics over there, like, all right, you know, like, this person says that they're suicidal, you know, I really need you to go do a welfare check on them, you know? Yeah, some people is envious. Envy is so much worse than jealousy. Like, there's so much more feeling behind envy than there is jealousy. I'm probably not going to be on here for like too long tonight, guys, but I am going to record a couple of pick-a-piles. Yeah, these people are not to be trusted. Like, whoever is making you feel guilty for being happy, and it makes you feel destroyed and beat up. You know, you are not broken. Quit telling yourself that you're broken. Tell yourself that you're healing. I am healing. You know, it's not that I'm broken. Like, quit saying that to the universe. Quit saying that to your higher self. You're not broken. You're healing. Fulfilling fantasies. I don't even know what to say about that one. I think some of you have been keeping it a secret too, not speaking up. I'm telling you, the awareness, like the fact that you even question why you feel this way to begin with is a huge step. Like that's the biggest step. Like you will do nothing but heal from here on out. And healing, I mean, they call it growing pains for a reason, you know? And that doesn't just stop when your bones stop growing. That happens while you're emotionally growing, like um, physically growing, mentally growing. Them growing pains, man, they're for reals. I already pulled that one. Kicked to the curb. Some of y'all need to be doing some kicking to the curb. Or they threaten this, you know? It's like, if you don't want me, that door's open. You know what I mean? It's never locked. You're not on a leash. Like you have freedom. Yeah, somebody out there really enjoys it when they make you upset. They really like to pop that bubble, you know? They really enjoy raining on your parade or seeing your parade rained on. You want to know who to get rid of in your life? Ask God. Ask God to show you a sign. Think of something specific, you know? Like, I seriously have done this in my own personal life. I've been like, God, source, universe, like, I don't care what you want to call it, but God, like, if there's somebody that I need out of my life, like, will you please let me know, you know, have them call me, telling me about some, you know, specific, like, in my case, I said, like, some sort of problem, you know? Like whoever it is that I need to get out of my life, like show me, like let them call me with the problem, you know? And I swear on everything. I woke up the next morning and my phone was blowing up by my best friend telling me that someone just smashed into her car. Like I didn't ask the universe to smash, you know, anybody's car in or whatever. I just asked the universe for a very clear sign of who it was I needed to get out of my life. And if you need to ask, like universe, God, spirit, angels, show me a sign of whoever it is that I need to get out of my life, you know? And you can make it somewhat specific, but still leave it generally open. I wasn't like, oh yeah, like whoever I need to lose in my life is going to get into a car crash or, you know, have anything like that happen. I just said that whoever it is that is betraying me or whoever is a snake in my garden, you know what I mean? And not the good kind of snake, but a snake in my garden, like show me, universe, send me a sign, send me this kind of sign. And the very next day, man, the other thing that I've asked too is like when people lie, you know, like, are you telling the truth? You telling the truth? You're asking them, are you telling the truth? And people will put that on their mama, on their dead brother's grave, on their whatever grave, you know what I mean? And still be lying through their freaking teeth. But if you ask them to put that on universe or put that on God, you know what I mean? And set a consequence for them lying, like you put that on your computer, you know? You put that on God on your computer. Like if that's their favorite freaking mundane toy, you put that on God on your motorcycle. You know, you're gonna put your motorcycle and on God for that. You know, I've seen it more than once where I've asked like straight up, like, "Hey, are you siphoning gas out of my car?" You know, like, no, I swear, why would I do that? Why would I do that? I was like, you put that on God on your motorcycle that you ain't doing that. No, I swear I put that on my motorcycle, on universe, on God. Like 2 weeks later, end up losing their motorcycle. You know, you can't put that on God like that. I'm going to shuffle these backwards. Keeping a promise. Yeah, keep that promise to yourself. Keep that promise to yourself that you promise yourself that you are not going to feel guilty for being sad or for being happy. Keep that promise to yourself. Collective. And the awareness is key, man. Awareness is superpower. That is your superpower. Because once you're aware of it, then you can start to make changes. But until you're aware of that's what's going on, like, how are you supposed to know? How are you supposed to know what changes or what needs changed? But awareness is key. Because I feel like some of you are super tired. Your soul is tired. So it's about time to go inside and do some of that real dirty shadow work. Have that wheel of fortune turn in your favor. I'm pretty sure those are the messages that the people who find me needed to hear. Like, I'm telling you, I can't talk today, dude. I'm super tired. So thank you for joining me. I hope you got something out of this message. Something to help you take your power back. Something that will help uplift you. Help uplift the consciousness. Help lift your consciousness. And I'll see you guys next time. Beep, beep.